Hey you guys, so this is Michelle and I haven't done a video in a while because I've been super busy because I'm trying to get this book out that I'm trying to finish. And my goal launch date is January 2018. So I'm sorry that there hasn't been a whole bunch of videos. But I'm making a change today, so I'm putting one out there for some of you guys that are struggling with a very sensitive topic that seems to be really hard for especially women. And this hits home for me because I'm a woman and because I have done this myself. And that's by defining our self-worth based on how others perceive us. We basically define our self-worth on others. And I can tell you from personal experience that there was a point where I just had to say enough's enough. You know, I spent most of my life, now I'm 51 years old, so think about that, okay? I spent most of my life defining my self-worth and my happiness, my own happiness, based on how other people decided that was it's supposed to be. You know, I I spent years of my life, you know, creating only happiness within trying to please everybody. And the problem was is that everybody wanted something different from me. And so it felt like I was living a dual life or a quadruple life or whatever. I mean, even more than that. You know, it was like there was a multiple personalities of Michelle. There was this Michelle for this person and this Michelle for that person. And finally, I decided I just had to kind of like put it all together and say, you know what, if you don't like it, then you do not need to get the luxury of having me in your life. Now, I know that sounds a little self-absorbed, but you know what? It's the truth. The thing is that for so long, you know, like before I met Shane, when I was dating, it was somebody didn't like this person, or this friend didn't like this person, or this family member didn't like this person. And you know, and it got to a point where I'm like, geez, you know, you want this from me and you want that from me and you want somebody who to be your best buddy and you want somebody to be this and, you know, and I was like, what about what makes me happy? And every time I try to choose somebody that met up to somebody else's expectations, it didn't click with me right. You know, it's like because I wasn't that person that can match up with that type of personality. That was just me doing something to please everybody else. And it just didn't work. So that part of my life was very challenging for me, was, you know, frustrating because I would enter into a relationship with somebody sitting here going through a checklist trying to say, okay, can you get along with my brother? Can you get along with my mother? Can you get along with my sister? Can you get along with my friends? You know, and I would like go like, well, what about this friend? What about that friend? You know, and I couldn't find that perfect guy that was going to fit into everything. And then if I did think that I could find somebody that would fit into that mold of everybody's needs, then they didn't make me happy. And so I finally, you know, said, what about Michelle? You know, and and so it was challenging for many years. And you got to understand, you know, I'm 51 years old. Okay, you guys, and so I spent most of my life trying to please other people, and that did not make me happy. I was unhappy because I could never please anybody. See, the thing is that when you're trying to please other people, you know, their expectations, you're never going to be able to meet. And so that's always going to make you feel worthless. So your goal here, you guys, is just to please yourself. Be happy in the space that makes you happy. So what I suggest you do is just do the things you enjoy. So I remember many years I was in I was very, very religious. And I know you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. And I was in a very, very, very strict, fundamental Baptist church. And this isn't your traditional Baptist church, you guys. I mean, we're not talking Southern Baptist. This is called BMA Baptist, which means Bible Missionary Auxiliary, Bible Missionary something. Anyway, it and it wasn't affiliated with Southern Baptist. In fact, they didn't even like the Southern Baptists because they thought they were liberal. And so there was like all these rules. Like boys and girls couldn't mix swim. You can't wear shorts. I mean, it was almost sort of Pentecostal-ish, except for they didn't speak in tongues. And there was a lot of rules and regulations and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing that I got from this church, and there's a positive out of all of this, is that I was required to read the Bible all the time. And so there was a lot of knowledge that I acquired from doing that. And so that was really good. But what it did was it created a lot of challenges because preacher wasn't preaching the same thing that was in the Bible. Or they weren't living, or, you know, the whole dynamics of the church was not really what was in there, you know. And when I really started getting into the fundamental pieces of what was really going on here, it's like, okay, so we're Christian because we're supposed to be Christ-like, because we're supposed to be following Christ's teachings. So that means New Testament. So Christ was saying, hey, I don't like religious people. I don't like the church. What I want to teach you is something completely different. And so I started to really pay attention to a lot of that. And I was like, okay, so I'm listening to this and I'm listening to this and I'm going to the Greek version of the Bible and picking out the words and finding out what it really means and stuff. And I'm seeing something completely different. So I started to seek that out. And that was like the starting point for me, because I was like, okay, Christ is saying something different than what you guys are teaching, okay? You know, you think that it's supposed to be like this, but he's saying something totally different, that you guys seem to be missing the point here. And so I started this whole process of searching. And my search, I went all over the board, believe me. I mean, I did all kinds of stuff. I mean, I got into supernatural stuff for a little while, and some new agey stuff, and then I ended up studying with a Taoist master, and then I became a Buddhist, and then I said that was too strict for me, and I was like, I don't think so. I need something a little bit more liberal for me. Then I started calling it Michelleisms. You know, it's like, here's this, you know. Studied the last books of the Bible, Dead Sea Scrolls, looking into all the reasons why they picked these books and who picked it and why and all this other stuff. And I did a lot of like really knowledge seeking, okay? And through this, I started to realize, a lot of things. Sorry, you guys, I'm thirsty. I started to develop a way of life and a true meaning. And the basis of my philosophy came from something that Christ actually said. He said, when they were asking him, like, where's heaven? And where's the kingdom of heaven? And is it, like, can you help us get there, get to enlightenment? And Christ said, hey, you guys, kingdom of heaven isn't over there. It's not up there. It's not over there. It's in here. It's inside you. And so when I paid attention to that, I was like, okay, so that means happiness comes from within. Okay, so that means, okay, so let's just take it a little further, you guys. Your happiness has to come from within. You have to allow that spirit to move through you, okay? So if you're trying to be happy based on the fact that you're not pleasing everybody in the church, or you're not pleasing your mom and dad, or you're not pleasing your brother and your sister, or you're not pleasing your kids, or you're not pleasing all your friends, or, the church members, or whatever, or this, that, and the other, you're never going to be happy. You have to be able to find happiness within the space that you live in. It's not going to require Mercedes to make you happy, because if you buy the Mercedes, you're going to still be unhappy. You're going to still be the unhappy person with the Mercedes. And I'm not telling you you guys who like to be, creators and, believe in the law of attraction. I believe in all that stuff too. But what I'm saying is that you can create the stuff that's not going to make you happy. Happiness has to start from inside of you. And if you're defining your self-worth on what you have, or what you're going to get, or who you're going to please, that happiness will never come. You will die in your grave a depressed, unhappy person. Now, is that the life you want to live? So I want you to think about that. I want you to process that. And I want you to really think about what it truly is that's going to make you happy. So a lot of times people say they don't know. So I usually tell people, well, like, sit within yourself and just kind of think about what's going to make you, what do you really want to do? Sit by yourself for a while. I've had people say, oh my God, that scares me to death. I'm afraid to be alone. I'm afraid of this. And I'm like, I used to have the same feeling. I was fearful of being alone. I had to be on the telephone with somebody all the time, or I had to be out doing something with somebody, and I had somebody tell me the same thing. They said, hey, you need to get to know Michelle, and see who she is, because you don't know Michelle. You don't know her. Because the only way that you know her is based on what other people say she should be. And I thought for a second, and I thought, you're right, I don't even know who I am. I don't know who I am because I've spent my whole life trying to please everybody. So, that didn't work. Nobody was ever pleased. So I just threw my hands up in the air and I said, you know what? I'm going to sit with Michelle for a while. So I did. And I started thinking, what does Michelle want to do? What does Michelle really want to do? And so I just started doing things I wanted to do. And I tried a lot of things. Things that I thought that I wanted to do, things I thought that I would really enjoy. And I ended up finding out I really didn't like it. And then I tried things that I never thought that I would enjoy. I was like, that's not me. I would never do that. And I ended up liking it. and it was like, really started to discover. And and the honest to God truth is I'm always discovering me. It doesn't end with, a certain age. It's a journey that you go on of self-discovery, of, learning to have a purposeful life. And so when you get outside of that, feeling like I have to please somebody, then you're going to find happiness. So anyway, so I was telling all my clients, I said, go sit with yourself for a while. And she's like, I'm so afraid. I'm like, you know what? And I told her, I said, I was too, but I ended up deciding that I didn't have to please, when I sat with myself, I didn't have to please somebody. I could actually go to a nail salon and I could do that because that's what I wanted to do. I could go get a pedicure because I wanted to do it. I could go do yoga because I wanted to do it. I didn't have to try to find somebody or convince them, like, oh, you should try it. No. And they're like, I'm not into yoga. I'm not, I tried that. Or, oh, I don't really feel like eating Mexican food today. I'm just not, I really wanted to do this. And so I started finding that by doing things that I wanted to do and stop doing things everybody else wanted to do, just took some time and sliced out a little time for Michelle and do what Michelle wants to do. And sometimes Michelle just wanted to work on her book. And sometimes Michelle just wanted to sit down by herself for a while and meditate. Sometimes Michelle needed something that only Michelle could give her. And sometimes Michelle needed to have quality time with her family. Sometimes she needed to be with a friend. And there's so many different things that I discovered just by not trying to please anybody. And in that, I discovered so many different things about myself. And I know this is really difficult for women, especially, because you're nurturing and you're caring and you care so deeply and you want to please people. And and that hasn't changed. I haven't turned into a selfish bitch, okay? I still care. And I still want to do things for people. But I do it for me. I'm not doing it for them. I'm not doing it because I want to make you happy, and then I do it because it pleases me. Okay, I'm not doing it to please them. I'm not showing up at your house to help you paint because I think I'm going to get something back. I'm not showing up at your house to, help you with some kind of project or reorganize your cabinets or something because I have an expectation. Well, okay, so next week I'm going to ask for this and you're going to give it to me. Most of the time when that happens, you guys, most of the time people are going to tell you no. They're not, thanks for helping me organize my cabinets, but I can't help you move next week because I got a date with this guy that's a hottie. I've had so many situations in my life where I've rearranged my life. I've changed everything. I've moved my schedule around. I've altered every part of my life and my being for everybody. And I've just, because everybody else's life is so complicated that I just, okay, you just tell me when and I'll do it and I'll alter it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I would say a large percentage of the time I still do that. And because everybody else makes things so complicated. Oh, well, they can't do this because of that. No. But I don't do it because I'm trying to please them. I do it because I'm trying to please me, because this is something I want to attend, and then you guys working amongst yourselves, okay? Because the thing is that, again, I'm not, my goal here is not to please everybody. My goal is to be happy Michelle. And when a happy Michelle shows up, everybody's happy. Because they're like, wow, she's fun to be around, or she's a joy, or she's funny, or, I love her. Because I found that there's a lot of things about myself that I really like. And I'm an interesting person, and I have a lot of things to talk about, and I have a lot of things to share. And sometimes people are not interested in those things. And that's okay too, because I'm a good listener. And I can listen to your stories, and I can listen to your happiness, and I can share in your bliss without feeling like there's any expectations that I want back. Your happiness has to come from the choices you make, okay? Don't do anything for obligation. Just do it because it makes you feel good. If you want to go over there and help your crippled mother, then do it because you want to and because it makes you feel good about you, not because you're going to think you're getting some kind of brownie points with God, or, you're going to get a jewel on your crown when you get to heaven, or because, I'm racking up the good deeds thing, this is gonna balance out my karma, or don't do it because you're trying to, you're thinking that somehow, some way, you're gonna get something back from the person you're giving it to. I mean, that's not love. Love doesn't come with expectations. It's like, why would you give with all that expectations, So happiness, again, it comes from within. It comes from truly doing things that makes you happy. And after you've done the nail salon thing and the theater and the whatever it is and all the things that you think are going to make you happy, you'll discover that just truly giving and sitting in that space, it gives you the most joy. This is Michelle, and if you have any questions, please comment. I love your comments. I love it when you guys respond. So please comment and tell me, your thoughts on the subject. And also, too, to make sure that you look on my Facebook page. There is a link. I have a new book that's coming out. It's going to be selling. It's going to be a little higher price because there is a lot of stuff in it. It's going to be a step-by-step process on how to reprogram your mind, your body, your spirit, get everything all completely right, get everything in order. And so I'll actually do a video on that and explain it a little bit more. But pre-order is $14.99, and that is dirt cheap because when it goes on Amazon, it's not going to be anywhere near that price. So if you want it, let me know, and I will send you a link. I think there is a link on my Facebook, so you can pre-order that book. It will be launching, cross my fingers, January 2008. You guys have an awesome, awesome, awesome holidays. Hope Thanksgiving was good for you. It was great for me. And I designed a new cover for it. Tell me your thoughts on it, and look on a different link on this page and tell me what you think. Have an awesome day. Bye.